Most people remember Mighty Hercules as a loud, simple cartoon. But the 1963 series was engineered for syndication. 5-minute shorts, a repeatable ring power-up, and myth names bent into easy villains. One New York studio and one sticky theme did the heavy lifting. Here are 14 verified facts that change how every episode feels when you rewatch. Stay close. Fact 1. Built for syndication blocks. This show wasn't built for one network night, it was built for syndication blocks. Many listings give the run as September 1st, 1963 through May 1st, 1966, and the shorts are about 5.5 minutes. Stations could stack several shorts to fill a 30-minute slot or mix them with other cartoons. That packaging forces fast resets. Problem, chase, ring moment, win, reset. Credits name Joe Aurelio as producer and director, so one timing style guides the whole package. The geography stays simple, Olympus above, danger below, because it makes reruns painless. You can drop in mid-block and still understand the rules in seconds. That reset is the real superpower of the format. It also explains why the show can reuse the same cliff, the same cave, and the same panic pose without feeling totally stuck. The moment a new short begins, the audience forgives repetition because the stakes feel fresh again. That's classic TV cartoon math. Reuse drawings, keep momentum, and let sound sell danger. And that loop keeps stations happy for years. Asterisk asterisk, but that wasn't everything. Fact 2. The half-hour memory illusion. Your memory of a half hour is usually several shorts stitched together. Standalone segments run about 5.5 minutes and were commonly compiled into 30-minute omnibus broadcasts in syndication. That forces fast writing, threat in seconds, rescue in minutes, reset immediately. It also makes reruns flexible. A station can reshuffle shorts without confusing new viewers because continuity is light and signals repeat. That's why reuse hides well. A background can repeat, a run cycle can loop, and your brain still feels progress because a new title arrives quickly. The container becomes the engine, not just the container. That's why people remember moments more than plots. It also explains why you can watch episodes out of order and never feel lost. Each short reintroduces the problem in one line, so the viewer's brain resets too. Editors can swap segments, trim one or add another, and the block still flows. That shuffle-friendly design is why the show kept resurfacing in reruns for decades. Even today it works. Asterisk asterisk, and what came next surprised everyone. Fact 3. Caledon as a reusable stage. Caledon works like a reusable stage set. The show often places trouble in the kingdom of Caledon, which keeps the world easy to read. A stable home base means layouts can be reused. The same palace, roads, and forests can host dozens of threats. It also anchors recurring characters like Helena and Prince Dorian of Caledon, so the viewer always knows what is being protected. In 5 minutes, you don't want a big map lesson. You want one place that always needs saving. Caledon lets writers drop in any monster or magic object and start the chase immediately. That location choice keeps the stories fast. It also helps the show reuse the same danger beats without slowing down. One week the palace gate is a trap, next week it's a rescue point, and nobody questions it. The place stays familiar, so the threat feels sharper. That's why Caledon quietly works like a stage in a play. Keeps the action centered, fast, and easy to follow. But the setting choice explains more. Fact 4. New York pipeline plus stock music. The production story is a New York story, and you can feel it. Adventure Cartoon Productions is described as making the cartoons in New York City with veteran artists connected to Paramount and Terrytoons. That context explains the visuals. Bold poses, limited movement, and long holds that rely on clean silhouettes. The same production history says the company used stock music by Winston Sharples derived from his earlier Paramount cartoon scores. That explains why the show can feel faster than the drawings. Cues create speed, danger, and victory on command. When animation is limited, sound has to carry motion. This is why the series can feel urgent even when a pose holds for seconds. It's also why the show leans on strong model sheets and simple layouts instead of silky motion. When artists are racing a deadline, you pick poses that read instantly. Stock cues then do the rest. Brass for hero, strings for danger, a sting for the win. Together, art and audio fake bigger action. You feel it every time anyway, instantly. and the sound makes it stranger. Fact 5. The ring is a power switch. The ring turns myth strength into a repeatable TV switch. In this series, Hercules loses godly strength when he goes to Earth, so Zeus gives him a magic ring. When danger spikes, Hercules puts it on, raises his fist, and lightning strikes the ring, called the Thunder of Zeus in episodes, charging him with super strength. That is a perfect short-format solution. Creates suspense before the lightning beat lands. Creates a guaranteed climax you can stage the same way every time. Ring on, flash, power pose, win. Kids learn the rule instantly, so the show never needs new power systems. That one trigger powers the whole series. It also makes every villain scene feel like a countdown. Until the ring flashes, Hercules can be shoved, trapped, or distracted, which gives the short real tension. Then the thunder hit becomes the loud reset button. Animators can reuse the transformation staging, and kids still cheer because they know what it means. That predictability is the point for young viewers. But the switch changes everything. Fact 6. The pilot sets the rulebook. The pilot explains the rulebook in minutes. The opening setup has Hercules beat Theseus in contests, Zeus offer any reward, and Hercules ask to go to Earth to fight evil and injustice. Zeus warns he will lose his powers on Earth, then provides the solution, the ring. That single setup answers the big question. How do you keep a god-level hero in danger every week? Make power conditional. After that, every short can sprint. Villain attacks, someone is trapped, ring triggers the win, reset. Stations can air shorts out of order without confusion, because the rulebook never changes. The loop is the show's real plot. It also explains why the titles can be so blunt. Stolen ring, Hydra, kidnaps Helena. The pilot already taught viewers what matters, so later shorts don't waste time. They throw the problem on screen, let the sidekicks react, and race toward the ring beat. That's how syndication stays smooth. If you miss the start, the rulebook catches you up instantly. And then the loop locks in. Fact 7. Heracles versus Hercules naming. Even the hero's name is an adaptation choice. In Greek myth, he is Heracles, while Hercules is the Roman form of the name. The series uses Hercules, but mixes Greek-style gods and places for instant recognition. That matters because kids learn labels first and keep them. Precision is less useful in 5 minutes than clarity. The show makes the same choice in its settings. It keeps a small set of familiar places and keeps moving, so the action beats land quickly and the viewer never gets lost. Recognition beats strict accuracy here, and that's intentional. It also protects the show's speed. If you say Heracles, many kids need an explanation. If you say Hercules, the brand clicks immediately. That lets writers skip introductions and jump straight into danger. The myth blend becomes a shorthand. Familiar names, simplified stakes, instant action. In 5-minute shorts, that clarity beats correctness every single time on TV for most kids. But the name choice matters. Fact 8. Daedalus becomes the villain. Daedalus is the biggest name flip in the series. In classical myth, Daedalus is a famous inventor and architect linked to the labyrinth for King Minos. In Mighty Hercules, Daedalus becomes the chief enemy, labeled an evil wizard, sometimes accompanied by his pet cat Dido. That is a sharp adaptation change. Inventor becomes sorcerer, but it's useful for TV shorts. A recurring villain saves design work and saves setup time. One cloak, one face, one scheme, and the show can jump straight to action. A reused villain is a production shortcut that keeps costs down and recognition high. It also lets the series recycle story shapes. Daedalus can kidnap, disguise, cast a trap, or steal an object, and the setup still reads instantly. His wizard label explains anything the plot needs, fast. That flexibility is gold in short episodes because you can swap the monster, reuse the cave, and still deliver a clean payoff today in reruns too. And the myth flip is wild. Fact 9. Villains as gimmicks. The villains are built like icons with one gimmick each. The show names Wilhelmine the Sea Witch and pairs her with a pet bird named Elvira. It also names Morthes, who is invulnerable because he wears an iron helmet called the Mask of Vulcan. Notice the formula. One label plus one prop explains danger instantly. That is perfect for 5-minute shorts because you don't have time for deep motives. A prop tells you how the fight works and gives animators a simple reusable design cue. Gimmicks keep the stories readable at speed. That also makes episode titles do the heavy lifting because the gimmick can be named up front. The audience knows the threat before the first scene finishes. For production, a single prop is gold. It can be reused in drawings, held in close-ups, and turned into the solution. The fight becomes a puzzle, and it stays memorable after one viewing. but the gimmicks pile up. Fact 10. Newton repeats on purpose. Newton's repetition is a pacing hack disguised as personality. Newton is a boy centaur who calls Hercules Herc and repeats himself every time he speaks. In short episodes, repetition buys seconds while the animation holds on one pose. Kids accept it as a character quirk, not padding. Newton also gives scale. A small, nervous sidekick beside the hero makes Hercules look bigger and makes danger feel louder. His reactions tell the audience how serious the threat is without long explanation. That's why he anchors so many shorts. It also helps compress exposition. When Newton repeats, the show can restate the stakes without adding new shots, which keeps kids oriented. Repetition functions like a tiny recap inside the scene. It's also an audio rhythm that fills silence during held poses. That's why it feels intentional, not accidental. It also gives Hercules a listener so jokes land for kids. And the pacing trick shows. Fact 11. Toot speaks with panpipes. Toot barely needs dialogue because sound does the job. Toot is a small satyr who vocalizes only by playing his syrinx, like panpipes. That choice is pure TV efficiency. Fewer spoken lines means faster voice recording and simpler mouth animation. A repeated panpipe cue can replace a sentence, warn, cheer, or signal danger. In 5 minutes, that matters. The show treats Toot like the ring, as a trigger. Panpipes confirm danger, and thunder confirms rescue. One sound can replace a paragraph, and the short keeps sprinting. It also keeps scenes universal, because the emotion is carried by sound, not complicated dialogue. For production, fewer mouth shapes mean faster cleanup and fewer retakes. Editors can drop the same panpipe cue into different shorts to signal warning instantly. Toot becomes an audio tool like a portable subtitle for kids, but one cue replaces speech. Fact 12. The theme song brands the show. Hook. The theme song is the show's branding weapon. The opening theme is sung by Johnny Nash, and it introduces the hero's identity before any plot begins. In a series made of short segments, that matters. A station can start an omnibus anywhere, and the theme still resets the viewer. Hero, danger, victory. The song becomes the recap button. It is also why many people remember the tune even when they can't name specific shorts. In syndication, a sticky theme is as important as a strong character design, because it glues scattered segments into one show in your head, and the cast does double duty. Fact 13. Library of Congress confirms the music workflow. Hook. The paper trail proves the audio system was real. The Library of Congress holds Winston Sharple's music manuscripts, and its description says the television cartoon series includes scores and cues for mid-1960s cartoons produced by Joe Aurelio and Hal Seeger, including the Mighty Hercules. It also notes many cues by associate composer George Steiner. That means the soundtrack was managed like reusable assets, not a one-off score. Cue changes can create motion even when drawings hold, which is why the show feels urgent. Official archives don't keep accidents, but the archive proves it. Fact 14. The whole system was built to replay. Hook. Put it all together and the show's secret becomes simple. Syndication needs modular shorts. 5-minute runtime needs instant gimmicks. The Ring needs a repeatable lightning beat. A stable home base like Caledon keeps layouts reusable. A recurring villain like Deadless saves setup time. Stock music and strong cues make limited animation feel fast. Credits and archives tie those choices to real people like Joe Aurelio and Winston Sharples. Once you see the system, you stop watching only fights. You start noticing the machine behind the fights, and it changes the rewatch. That's the hidden architecture of the cartoon. And that's the last clue you needed. Once you spot the pattern, the show stops feeling random and starts feeling designed. Shorts reset fast, the ring triggers the win, villains return like labels, and music cues push action forward. Credits and archives point to real makers, Aurelio, Sharples, and more behind the shortcuts. Rewatch one short with one goal: catch the trigger, the loop, or the reused cue.